Hey, this is Steve. Just doing a little winter camping. Heating up some soup here on the stove. This is my second time in this Eskimo 450XD ice fishing shelter. It's 75 square feet. I got two twin size cots in here that I got from a Army supply place. It was about the same price for the cots as what you'd pay at Sportsman's Warehouse. Got a bit of a fire there. I think I got another stick of firewood I can put in there. Most firewood doesn't fit in these little stoves, so you'd want to custom cut your firewood before you went camping, just to make things super easy. Maybe that'll burn up. I'll open the door, reposition the camera a little bit for you so you can see the amount of room in here a little better. This Velcro is open. You got to really clean out the floor inside your space. I advise you, if you're camping in the snow, to put the snow around the edges to hold the structure in place. Then you can shovel out the inside. I shoveled out most of it. There we go. I shoveled out most of it before I put the pop-up up. Let's see the space. Go ahead and close it back up. It's pretty easy to close up. There's a couple of rods that support the doorway, since it is a completely open doorway. It's another thing I really liked about this pop-up was it has a completely open doorway. These close up to offer more insulation. Another thing that's nice about this compared to a tent is you can stand up in almost just about every square foot of floor space, which you cannot do in a bell tent. This has a lot more headroom. I like the 7 windows. It goes up in 1 minute instead of 20 minutes. It weighs 50 pounds instead of the bell tent that I was going to get weighed like 70, 80 pounds. It was just, it doesn't seem like a big difference, but when you're moving it, trying to find a place to set it up, 20 pounds is a lot when you're already moving 50 or getting it in and out of your vehicle. So yeah, I would definitely recommend something like this, and it's about 50 pounds, the 450 XD from Eskimo. I happen to get the limited edition, the dark red and black plaid. I really like that color scheme. It's less noticeable. It's not as doesn't jump out as much. So yeah, it's got a light gray interior, so when you do turn on a light, it's nice and, it disperses the light really good instead of absorbing the light. That's a big plus. I hope that helps you. A little brief review of my hot tent camping setup with the Eskimo 450XD in the Winnerwell Woodlander medium. Well, little Woodlander made it through the night. I did have to get up and start it fairly early in the morning, but started pretty easy. I carry some paper and some chopped up cardboard pieces for kindling. I'm not sure how cold it got last night. I know it was cold enough to where I got a little cool in that cold weather sleeping bag I have 2 sleeping bags, so I could have had them doubled up. I have this other sleeping bag here. It's a 0-degree bag, and that's where I kept my wood, right out there. It's really important to have your wood cut exactly the right size for your stove. Otherwise, you won't be able to control the rate of burn if you have to leave the door open. And if it's burning too close to the door, it'll smoke back. And then the only other way to prevent it from smoking is to open up the damper all the way, which causes it to burn too hot. I usually burn about right here when I'm just maintaining a burn, somewhere right in here. And then if I wanted to get hotter, I open it up like that. The little ash scraper works great right here. This nice tool was included, and you can hang it here on the edge of your stove, so it's easy to grab if you need it, or somewhere like that. I'm not sure why that little curved part is on the end, but that's what I use it for. Works very well. I like the build quality of this stove, and so far that stove jack works very well. Haven't seen any issues. It gets a little warm around the metal ring, but nothing crazy hot, even when the stove's burning pretty hot. I've had this lower section here up past the damper glowing red, not really bright red, but in the dark you can see it glowing. You can see the stove box itself glowing on the sides and in the back and on the top, mostly on the sides and the back, and then at the base of the where the first pipe goes into the stove box, it's glowing red there too, in the dark. I mean, you can't tell it's glowing red in daylight, but at night, I guess you're seeing the infrared color spectrum or something. I'm not really sure. I've taken some photos, which I'll include in the video, that show what my smartphone camera captures. It looks like the whole thing's glowing cherry red, but it's actually not. It's just a dull, dim red glow of the box. So I'm really happy with this. The only negative that I've seen is the fact that I've have trouble finding the perfect size wood for it. That's easily remedied. I mean, you could cut your own dead twigs and stuff with a bow saw pretty easily, and that would solve that problem. Just make sure you cut them. I would recommend cutting them maybe half an inch shorter or an inch shorter than whatever would fit in the box, and that should be perfect. We'll see you next time. This is Steve. I close the vent in the front just about halfway, and I close the damper there about halfway, so it's at a steady burn and not a roar. So it's hot enough in here. I don't have a thermometer, but I could comfortably take my last jacket off. I took my hat off, so it's toasty warm. Got a little more wood. I was hoping I'd take some pictures of some birds. I'll look for some birds here. Have to open a window, let some of this heat out. There. Any birds? There's a mountain biker.